Hindi, or would you like me to speak in English?
Anything is fine, sir.
Anything, sir.
English?
English. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Jai Hind, friends. This year, we started this interactive session Vartalap to know our heroes from various perspectives, to enrich ourselves about the war, and most importantly, to pay our tribute to our warriors. We listened to parents who shared the childhood and teenage of our heroes. Siblings shared their feelings with us. Nephew and nieces expressed the influence of their mamu or chachu on them. Wives shared the memories with their husbands and their own struggle to raise their children. And children also shared about the beloved brave father. On the other hand, we were fortunate enough to listen to the commanding officers, two ICs, company commanders of various infantry and artillery units. We were lucky to listen to one of the bravest of the brave during our journey through the Vartalap. The war heroes shared about the war, their survival through the odds, and told us the stories of their compatriots who gave supreme sacrifice to ensure the victory and glory of the nation. Today, on the occasion of 21st Kargil Vijay Diwas, Desh is blessed and honored to have the leader of the war with us. When the national security was under threat, when our boys were fighting hard to bring back the encroached land from the intruders, entire nation depended on his leadership. Then the Chief of Army Staff, General Ved Prakash Malik, led the nation towards victory. Today, we will listen to the message given by our then Chief of Army Staff after 21 years of the war. Sir, I request you to address our Desh.
Thank you, Adrija and Anusaya. At the outset, I would say my heartiest congratulations and good wishes to everyone in this country who is celebrating this Kargil Vijay Diwas anniversary. And I'm grateful to both of you and your colleagues of Desh, DESH, that you have given me an opportunity to join your audience on this virtual platform. I must also compliment you. You know, this is something what you are doing has always been in my mind, that there are people who tend to forget the families of those who are martyred in protecting the territorial integrity of our nation. And it is absolutely essential for us that we keep in touch with their families. And that is the only way we can do something for the kind of sacrifice that they have made. And that is also very morale raising for the armed forces when they realize that, yes, even if people are not there, they are no more, but people are there to look after their families. So my compliments to your organization with the kind of work that you are doing. And my best wishes to you, really. Now, why do we celebrate anniversaries like Vijay Diwas? This is a question I think we need to always keep in mind. The first, of course, is to pay homage to all the soldiers who made the supreme sacrifice for the defense of our nation, its territory, and its people. And these are also good occasions, anniversary like this, that we try and meet everyone, those who have lost their kith and kin, husband, or son, or nephew, nieces, like that, everybody, so that we keep in touch with their families, which is the kind of work that you people are doing. So it's a good thing that we are celebrating that. And the first thing that we have to do is to pay homage to those people who sacrificed their life. 527 soldiers were killed, including Air Force people also. So it's the right occasion that we start the day today paying homage. You would have seen it on the television. I myself today went to the memorial in the morning to lay the wreath on the memorial, remembering all these martyrs of Kargil war. The second reason why we should celebrate this is to recall that historic event. What happened? Why did it happen? And how did we cope up with that or could not cope up with that? What were the lessons? We have to analyze that event. It's an important part of our history, national history, and make sure that the lessons that we have learned from that kind of event, they are remembered by everybody. And also we have to check that have we implemented those lessons. It's quite possible that some of the lessons we have learned, but we have not been able to implement for whatever reason. So this is one day when we can remind our political authorities that, look, these are the kind of deficiencies still remain, and we need to make up with that. And third, of course, it's a day when we should again renew our resolve that we as a nation will work together and with determination of the kind that you have seen during Kargil war. The people, the way they fought that war, that is the kind of determination and the preparedness for sacrifices. That is the way I think we have to again make our resolve. If ever such event take place in future, we'll be able to face them. Now, I know that some people will be talking about this other. Just want to mention about what happened really, that on the 20th February 99, exactly 21 years ago, or little more than 21 years ago, our Prime Minister, at the invitation of Prime Minister of Pakistan, went to Lahore. And there, the both Prime Ministers signed Lahore Declaration saying that we will now live peacefully, India and Pakistan. And all our problems, we will resolve them in a peaceful manner by talking to each other. And there will be no war with each other again. But as you know, that within about 2 months, Pakistani intruders, they came to Kargil, Dras, and Kargil and Siachen area, and they intruded. The leading elements were wearing jihadi uniforms, black salwar, black. So it took quite some time for the intelligence agencies and our own military to find out what has happened, because infiltration often happens, but there is a major difference between infiltration of jihadis and the Pakistani Fauj doing something. Our rules of engagement are different for the infiltrators. And if we know that this is a Pakistani army, then our rules of engagement change drastically. And we have, that we have much greater freedom to act against them. So this is what happened, and it came as a big surprise at the political level, even for the military. And our Prime Minister, in fact, felt that he had been stabbed in the back, and then he gave us orders to throw them out from the intruded areas, and that is of Dras, Kargil, and Siachen sector. And we had many challenges, I must mention here. One of the greatest challenge, of course, was the terrain. You have seen that area where these battles were fought, the height anything between 10,000 to 20,000 feet, very cold area, very sharp mountains, and lack of oxygen as you keep climbing the mountains. And unless you are properly acclimatized, you will not be able to carry out any work, particularly when you have to climb up and then attack the enemy, which is already sitting at a much greater height. There was no intelligence, as I have mentioned to you. Pakistani Fauj had managed to occupy those heights in a very surreptitious manner. We had shortage of weapons, equipment, and in fact, acute shortage. When the press asked me, how are you going to fight when you have been complaining about lack of weapons and equipment? And my reply to them was that don't worry, we shall fight with whatever we have. Today, that sentence has become, so prevalent. Everybody knows that what I said, and I was quite clear that we shall fight with whatever we have. Then we also were told by our leaders that don't cross the line of control, our international border. Now that was a big restriction placed on us because we had become a nuclear nation just 1 year earlier, and the government wanted to see that to convey a message that India has become a nuclear nation, but India is a very responsible nation, and therefore we are not going to indulge in something which can provoke others towards the nuclear weapons. So that was another challenge that we had. But despite all these challenges, I must say that our armed forces, Army, Navy, and Air Force, they all fought together. And after 56 days of fierce fighting in the area that you have visited, you have seen yourself, we were able to throw out the enemy. And toward the end, Pakistan Army literally came on its knees, and their political leadership started running from country to country, seeking a ceasefire from India. And there were a number of telephone calls going up and down. So it took us 56 days. Now, when we talk of that war, I would say the maximum credit for that, for the victory that we achieved, it goes to our soldiers, our officers, young officers who fought that, who led from the front. They were absolutely determined, not only just daring, brave, but they were also determined and dedicated. And they had, I would say, great spirit of patriotism. And the regiment, the name of regiment was absolutely important for them. And so that is how they fought. And there were countless acts of gallantry. You have met many of these gallantry award winners there who were there, not only officers, but also men who happened to be there. They performed superbly. Of course, it was my privilege, my honor to be their army chief at that time. And I was lucky that way. And I must say I had a great team from Army, Navy, as well as Air Force. The second credit should go to our political leadership of those days and our senior officers from the diplomatic corps and other ministries. We all worked together in a very well coordinated fashion. We used to meet every day in the Prime Minister's office and work out our plans, both in terms of diplomacy or whatever problems I had, I would tell the Prime Minister, and they were sorted out. And I must say that the armed forces were given total freedom. Nobody interfered in whatever we were doing. And in fact, we were supported very well throughout that war. The third credit must go to our countrymen. You know, starting from Jammu and Kashmir to Kerala and Tamil Nadu, from Manipur, Nagaland to Rajasthan and Gujarat. We have people from all these states in our forge, Army, Navy, and Air Force. But the kind of national spirit that we saw, the support that we got, it was unbelievable. I think that was my best experience of life, really. And that is the way we have to confront our enemies, those who have bad eyes on our territory, so to say. So that was a great morale booster for us. And to have that kind of support coming from every individual of the country, I think it's a great support that any armed forces can think of. Now, why do we celebrate these occasions? Um, One is to remember, as I said. Second is to learn the lessons that we have got. So it was a great teamwork, Army, Navy, and Air Force. And I would say it was a blend of strong and determined political leadership, military leadership, diplomatic leadership, which enabled us to transform that adverse situation into a military and diplomatic victory. So that is the way that we were able to fight and we were able to win that war. And the mission that was given to the armed forces to throw them out on the other side of the line of control, that was achieved on 26th of July 1999. And that is why today we are celebrating the 21st anniversary of that war. Thank you, and Jai Hind to all of you.
So starting from our journey to understand this war, your book, the Kargil from Surprise to Victory, we consider that book as the basic textbook on this subject. And from your book, we came to know about Major Sudhir Kumar Walia, the Rambo of Indian Army. And yesterday, we remembered the great warrior on the Julu Operation Day, 25th of July. So we would like to request you to share a few memories of Rambo with the listeners of Desh.
Sudhir was my ADC when I was Army Chief. In fact, his name was recommended by a person who was junior to him. And Sudhir had done extremely well, not only as a para commando, but also when he was sent abroad to do the courses. And he was living with us in the same army house. There was a separate quarter to them, cottage given to them. So he became very close in the family. He became a family member. My children were away, but Sudhir and other ADCs, they were like our children, and they used to interact. Of course, he was a little scared of me, but he would be more frank with my wife, and so I suppose that is what happens. Sudhir went with us abroad a number of times, and there also, I remember when we went to Vietnam, and we were going through the Kuchi tunnels. That's a very famous place where the Vietnamese people fought the Americans there. And they have 3 stories of those tunnels. And just to tell the Vietnamese officers and soldiers that our chaps are very tough. So he said, look, I will go through every tunnel and everywhere. Now, that is the kind of a soldier, daring soldier he was. About toward the end of the war, he came to me. He said that he wants to go and join the battalion. And you'd be surprised that he captured with his team, he captured Sulu Spur, as you were mentioning just now. And he left the house only about 9 or 10 days earlier from my house. Without acclimatization, he went. And after that, when the war was over, I met him in Srinagar. And he came to me and I picked him off. I said, why did you go without acclimatization and led your troops at that height? You shouldn't have done it. You went against the order. So he just looked at me, smiled, and he said, sir, main to pahadi aadmi hu. You know, he was from Palampur, as you know. So then I just smiled. I said, okay, don't do these things in future. And look after yourself. Take care. Unfortunately, within a few days after that, we lost him. And so I have very fond memories. As I said, he was like a member of our family. And it was a great loss, not only for his regiment, for the army, for the nation. And of course, as I have mentioned in the book, for us, me and my wife, it was a personal loss also.
Sir, one of our very active member, rather I should say that one of the most active members of Desh, he wrote 2 books on Kargil War. And the first book he wrote on Shah Captain Vikram Batra, and the second book he wrote Kargil Folklore, covering the entire war. He also went through your book, and obviously it is one of his strongest reference when he was writing his own books. And the young boy from Bangalore, he wants to interact you, not only because Diden COAS, but also as the senior most author on Kargil War.
Yes, I have spoken to Deepak often on the phone. Go ahead, Deepak. Good to see you.
Sir, pranam, sir. First of all, pranam. And being in the same frame as you is a very big honor for both me and both the Didis. मतलब सर जो आपको मतलब बचपन से हमको मतलब मानते हैं, we have been admiring you from the childhood, like since I was 10 years, when your book came out I was just 10 years sir that time. तो तब से लेके अब तक मतलब it has been a dream come true. So today it is one of the greatest moment of our lives for sure sir. So, sir, I just had one thing to ask you, sir. Like to add to what you had told that we will fire the last shot. During the war, there was another famous line you had told that we are going to fire the last shot. And 21 years later, sir, your boys who are like your sons back then, who are like your sons, like all these people used to meet. I heard your interview in which you told that you used to give the officers a bottle of champagne and the Jawans a watch as a token, and but a few of them would never return from the next battle. How do you look back upon those days, sir? Like 21 years down, matlab now you are well into your now there's a generation which has changed. How do you look back at it, sir? 21 years later, that statement, your boys did it for you up there. And you were there on the ground. You were always there in Dras Matayan to support them. So how do you look back at it, sir?
Deepak, as a chief, you don't fight on the battlefront. That job is done by the young officers and the battalion commanders and the div commanders like that. As an army chief, you're responsible for strategy. And that strategy, military strategy, are joining with the grand strategy with the Prime Minister and the other senior people, ministers, etc. So that is one job. That is what the chief is supposed to be doing. And all the operational details, the fighting part, that was all done by the field commanders, from battalion commander to brigade commander to the div commander, like that. But then the other task that the chief has is to keep visiting that area to see what is happening and what can he do. You have to monitor whatever is happening. That is absolutely essential. And that is how every 6th day or 7th day, I used to land up in Kargil sector everywhere. And one of the jobs that I did, one of the things that I did was to address as many people as possible, to raise their morale, to make sure that they remain determined. So what the line that you have mentioned, that although the enemy has started the fight, but the war will end only when we fire the last shot, and it will end on our terms. So that was a line which I used often on while addressing the people, and I think that is how it became famous line. But the other thing you mentioned about giving bottles of scotch or giving watches to the soldiers, that is also for morale raising. Somebody who has done well, the awards may come later, but as a chief, you have to show your, you have to tell them there on the spot that, okay, son, you have done well. And I used to carry some of these things. And whenever I was told that so-and-so, he was introduced to me, having done very well in the war. So I used to give either a scotch bottle or watches or something of that nature. That was always part of my stocks whenever I traveled, when I went abroad. So that is what the chief is supposed to do: carry out strategic planning, keep monitoring how the situation is faring, and give them support, whatever support is required. Keep raising their morale by visiting them as often as possible. And that is what I was doing. This is, as I said, it was part of my duty at that time.
Okay. And I would also like to tell our viewers that the son of General Malik, Brigadier Sachin Malik, he also is following the same footsteps, and he's also a Youth Seva Medal winner. During the Republic Day, he was awarded with the Youth Seva Medal. So we are all in safe hands. That's it. I would like to tell our viewers.
Deepak, yes, you are right. Our son was posted in Kashmir for last 2 years, and little more than 2 years, I would say, and he did well. and God was kind. And so at the end of it, when he left that operational area, he was awarded Youth Seva Medal. And but I also must tell you that my wife, she has worked in the army for over 5 years. My daughter-in-law, she worked in the army as a doctor for 14 years. So we are a family which has got a lot of, I would say, the military, total military background. We've all grown up in that kind of atmosphere. So every one of us has got military experience.
Absolutely great.
Sir, you led the nation during a very crucial time. Your boys brought back the victory and glory for the nation, but 527 of them gave supreme sacrifice. In present days, whenever any unfortunate incident like that in Uri or Pulwama happened, a section of citizens always want the nation to declare a war against the neighboring country. As a COAS during the war time, what is your message for this belligerent people?
Look, we should not become emotional. And when these incidents take place, we should not become emotional. War is not something which is good for the country. It sets back our development. So therefore, as far as possible, war should be avoided. But then when you have an enemy whose niyat is bad and who keeps on, creating an incident like this, then occasionally you have to teach them lesson also. And then we have to do what we did, whether it was a surgical strike or it was Balakot operation, to tell them that, look, don't try to do these things. It becomes an important message to the other country. So, as I said, try and avoid, but when it becomes essential, when then you have to do this kind of activity. But one should not become emotional in taking such decision. You have to be very careful. You have to calculate every aspect before you undertake such activities.
Anusha, mute. Unmute. Anusha, unmute here. Sir, I think there is some connection issue with her. So actually, sir, yes, we remember, sir, whenever we went and met the families of, yes, Anusha, you are there. So continue, yeah.
Yes, I'm sorry, sir. Actually, whenever we got an opportunity to meet a family of Kargil martyrs, we always found them remembering your meeting with them after the war. And like a true leader of the soldiers, you and Madam traveled across the nation to meet the parents, wives, siblings, and everyone who lost their loved ones. You met Captain Hanif's mother when she was actually waiting for her son's body to be retrieved. Moreover, you visited the hospitals to visit the injured soldiers regularly. Hello?
Anusuya, yes, Anusuya, again, it is an important responsibility and duty of the army chief to do these things. And both my wife and I, we tried and met every officer's family. Whenever we went, whether we went to Chennai or we went to Dimapur or Shillong or wherever we went, we met the families of the martyred soldiers. In fact, more than me, my wife went to and met a number of JCOs and other ranks, their houses also, the Havaldars or the Naiks or Sipais. So I think it's an important, after all, they are all family members. Army is a family. And here I would say that the chief as well as his wife, all officers and their wives, they have to work together. As you know, we have an important organization called Army Wives Welfare Association, and it's a very strong NGO body. The ex officio head of that is the chief's wife. During Kargil war, my wife was the head of that organization. So they looked after all the wounded soldiers who came, and so that is how, you know. And it, as I said, we were doing our duty, and they were also doing their duty as the wives of senior officers who met people and who tried to raise their morale. This is an important duty which we should not forget.
Sir, we have many young generation people.
Sure.
Anusaya, one thing more I want to say is that yes, we have not lost touch with them, and it is very nice of these families. I would say very affectionate of these families that they also like to meet us. I would say privilege is ours to be meeting them, and as I said, it's like we are all members of one family, the army family, and that is how we feel good whenever we are able to meet them. Yeah, go ahead, Anusaya.
Thank you, sir. Sir, actually, we have many young generation people in our group now, and who is also listening this live telecast, and they want to join the forces. So a short message from your side will surely increase their morale and the moral to preparation for themselves for the forces.
Look, the armed forces are a great profession. It's an honored profession, not only in our country, but in all countries of the world. And the kind of kinship that we have, the kind of family feeling that we have, I don't think any other profession will have that. Here we are connected with each other, not only professionally, but our families are connected. We live in cantonments, so the families are working together and they become dependent on each other. That relationship that you find in the armed forces, I have not seen in any other profession. So that's the most important job. Then it's a good life, very clean life. No corruption, none of those wrongdoings that people keep hearing outside. And the pay may not be as high, but it is adequate to live a respectable life. And if you have that spirit of adventure, you have that patriotism in you, and you want to do something for the country, and you want to have a good relationship with your people, you are looking for becoming a good leader, I think the armed forces are the best place for you to join. That is my message to all the young people. There is no other profession where you tell your subordinate to go and face a bullet, and he does it so willingly. There is no leadership of this nature. So if you want to become that kind of a leader, then the armed forces is the best place. And I would say, I remember long ago once, my young daughter, she was very young that time. I was taking her around in a cantonment, and at the end of it, in the evening, she very excitedly told me and my wife, Papa got 150 salutes today. Now that is the kind of respect that you get from your subordinates. Where will you get this kind of a thing? So if you want to live that kind of a life, armed forces is the place.
And it is a family, sir, that stays with you forever. Even when you retire, you are one complete family, always supporting each other.
Absolutely.
Like this,
absolutely right.
Sir, the thing about the armed forces is like, even if you're not a part of it, even if you come from a civil background, but you happen to visit a cantonment, or if you happen to interact with a few officers or jawans, they treat you like family, sir. Because on all the visits I've gone to, like I'm a Jain, sir, so I come from a Jain background. So whenever I've been to any cantonment, they already know कि ये लोग onion नहीं खाएंगे, garlic नहीं खाएंगे, and they're ready with it, sir. मतलब they tell कि हम will do it, we'll get it done. So this is the thing which sets the Indian Army apart from everything, sir. They treat the civilians also as a big family. They treat the entire country as a family, and it salutes to officers like you, sir, because of this.
It's a background that we have got, and also don't forget that in the army today you have people from every state, every religion, every whether they are Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Christian. We have people from every sector of our society. So we know how to live with each other, and that can only happen when you respect each other's habits or the do's and don'ts which they follow, and that becomes part of our life.
And sir, here I want to tell you, sir, that in 2014, when we started our journey of Desh, we had written a mail to you, and we were so excited. We never expected, but we immediately got a response from you where you had written that you must visit Kargil and Dras and see where our men have fought, in what terrain they fought, what weather they fought against. So that letter had been a big motivating force for us, motivational force for us to do what we are doing today, sir.
Thank you. Well, I don't recall when I wrote that letter. It's good of you to have remembered that. But not only to you people, I would in fact give a message to all the youngsters. Whenever, if ever they get the opportunity, they must visit that area. It's part of our country. It's a unique area, and everybody must have good knowledge of our border areas. Border areas tend to be neglected sometimes. Only if we go and visit them and we make them feel that, yes, they are part of our nation. And also people who visit them, they realize that, yes, we have such people on our borders. I think that is also part of our national strength, which must be encouraged.
Sir, when we had actually created this session, we had got a comment from one of the Kargil war veterans' wife that you and ma'am had always been so approachable, so caring for each and every soldiers. Actually, he is Lieutenant Colonel Rajiv Ghosh from Fort Jat. His wife had actually written that when they met you, ma'am had taken the little 2-year-old daughter, their daughter, on her lap and like allowed the little girl to eat from her plate. So the way actually your humbleness, like when we had called you, sir, in one call you had agreed to come to our session and share your views with us, where actually you never knew us before. So I have never seen such a humble person, sir. Thank you so much.
Well, it's kind of you, but it's also because of the good work that you people are doing. And so I was happy to join you. And human relationship is very important. And if you have good relations, then naturally you are able to have a good respect for each other, and you can help each other. Life is much simpler and much better for everyone. And also, it is our duty to look after the people, particularly those who have sacrificed their kith and kin, which is what we keep doing even now, whenever it is possible for us.
Sir, any amount of thanks would be enough. Deepak, you have anything to say?
Sir, and add to that, sir, your fitness level even at this age, even in this it gives us a ray of light, sir. Even in the tension among Corona, just looking at you, it is something. I told you even at Dras, sir, last year when we had met there, me, Didi, and everyone. So we were just actually in awe of your fitness level, sir. Even at this age, I just hope that even I'm 50% of what you are, even if I'm 10%, it is going to be something very big, sir. Like how do you keep it up, sir?
Look, I don't do anything special. I live a balanced life, everything in moderation. And I love my family. My wife gives me good food. And I love my children. So we have a good family life. One believes in God, of course. So there's nothing special that I do. Everything, as long as you live a balanced life and a moderate life, I think one can remain healthy. And health today, under the present circumstances of COVID-19, I think health has become very important, and people should realize that you cannot take chances with your health. And therefore, all the precautions that are being talked about, whether it is question of washing your hands or using a mask and not traveling to crowded places, etc., etc. I would always recommend that we be careful and health. If, as the Prime Minister said, Prime Minister said, "Jaan hai to jahan hai." I think we have to remember that.
Bilkul. Sir, actually this program, many martyr families are watching, and one of them is Mrs. Charulata Acharya, wife of Major Padmapani Acharya. So she has actually conveyed her regards to you, and she has also commented that her in-laws always remembered you. Now both of them are not there, both of them passed away. So as long as they were there, they always remembered you fondly.
Look, I remember visiting their house. Father-in-law and mother-in-law were there at that time. This was soon after the war, I think, in Hyderabad. And not only that, I must tell you that Charu's, the letter that her husband, Major Acharya, he wrote, I always quote that letter to tell people what kind of dedication that our soldiers had. That letter has become an example for everyone to see. The dedication, the kind of... and last year, when you were there, we also met their daughter,
Yes.
Aparajita. That is her name today.
Yes.
She's
Yes.
21 years old and a very nice young girl. She spoke very well when we were sitting together. And so it's a family which will always be remembered for the kind of sacrifice that they have made for the country. A very brave officer was Charu's husband. There is no doubt. And I would like you to convey my regards to her if you are in touch with her.
Yes, sir. Yes. Also, sir, the radio operator of 18 Grenadiers who was with Brigadier Khushal Thakur, sir, and also Lieutenant Colonel Vishwanathan, sir. His son is also watching, and he has a message for you that please forward my message to General VP Malik Sir today. I feel very proud of you, sir. You are a very great leader and motivator for our country. I am proud that I am the son of Shahid Ram Kumar, Veer Chakra, 18 Grenadiers who fought the Kargil War under your leadership. And he is a budding lawyer also, sir.
Well, look, all of us are very proud of his father, the kind of work that he did. And that is how he got Veer Chakra. A tremendous work. And I'm happy to hear from him. And I'm also very happy that he's going to be a lawyer. My granddaughter is also wanting to become a lawyer. And so I would like to wish him the best of luck. And I hope he is able to achieve good things and achieve a lot in his life. So my regards to him, and also my best wishes to him.
Sir, actually, what I said today morning, that it is a day which even we can't say that it is a day when our dream became true, because we never had the courage to see this dream that one day we will be sitting with you in the same frame. So any amount of thanks is won't be enough to express our emotion today, sir. But we are concluding this session with our deep regard and gratitude for all your boys and all the health and happiness for you, madam, and all your family in the coming days.
Thank you very much. It's very good of you, very kind of you. And my best wishes to all of you and all your colleagues and all those who are attending this webinar today. And take care. Keep doing the great work that you are doing. That would be my message to you. Thank
Sure,
you.
sir.
Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Jai Hind. Jai Hind.